Okay, so we often like to look into like history and science and stuff that's like tangible and real.
Mhm.
But today we're kind of going into something a little different, something a little strange, something that's really like blown up online and
Yeah.
honestly something that really kind of creeps me out a little bit. And that's the backrooms.
Yeah, the
Have
Backrooms.
you heard of this whole thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if
You,
you've been on the internet, especially like, uh, you know, Reddit or 4chan or any of the, darker corners of the internet, you've probably seen this. I mean, it's everywhere, and it's really kind of scary stuff.
It is. It's like one of those things that seems kind of simple at first, but the more you think about it, the more it just gets under your skin and just like really freaks you out. And I remember like the first time I saw this, I was like on some late night 4chan thread just scrolling through, and there was this picture, right? Just this really stark image of this totally empty hallway, and it looked like just the most like generic office building you could possibly imagine, like those just those pale yellow walls and the buzzing fluorescent lights just casting this like really dim, sterile glow on everything. And that carpet, that like low pile carpet that, it just looks like it's collecting dust and just like forgotten dreams. And it was so like, just so unremarkable, and yet something about it was just so wrong. And the caption just said, "You're not supposed to be here."
Okay.
And it just like, I don't know, it just gave me chills like right down my spine.
I can see that, that's the whole thing about it, right? Is this feeling of like you're trespassing or you've stumbled into some place where you shouldn't be,
And exactly, yeah.
Yeah. The Backrooms as like an actual creepy pasta that people were writing about and talking about
Yeah.
that really got going around like 2019 with that 4chan post. And the picture is creepy just because it's so bland and
Yeah.
boring, but it's the lack of context. There's
Mhm.
no explanation. There's just this image and this statement, and it lets your imagination run wild. It lets you fill in the blanks, which I think is really what makes it so disturbing.
So okay, for those of you listening who haven't like gone down this rabbit hole yet, can you kind of like break down like what is the back rooms? What are we talking about here?
So imagine you're in like a normal place,
Yeah.
right? Like maybe you're at work or you're at the mall or you're even like just at home. And then suddenly, without any warning, you find yourself in this space that looks familiar, but it's wrong somehow.
Okay.
Like it's the back rooms, right? It's this endless maze of these empty hallways, all with that same like pale yellow wallpaper and the flickering fluorescent lights and that same horrible carpet
Yeah.
everywhere. And the worst part is there's no way out. There are no doors, no windows, nothing. Just this empty space that goes on forever. And everything just feels so off, so wrong.
So it's not like a haunted house or anything.
No, no, not at all. I mean, there might be creatures and stuff, but that's not really the scary part. What's
Yeah.
scary is the place itself. It's like the normal world is just glitched out or something. And it
Yeah.
makes you question your own sanity. Like, am I dreaming? Is this real? What's going on?
Yeah, it's like this feeling of being completely lost and alone and there's no escape.
Exactly. And I think that's why it resonates with so many people because we've all felt that way at some point in our lives.
Right.
That feeling of being trapped or lost or just not knowing where to turn. The Backrooms just takes that feeling and amplifies it to like 1,000.
Yeah. It's like all of our like worst fears about being alone and lost in this like endless void.
Right. And the scariest thing is that it could happen to anyone. It's not like you have to do something special to end up there. You could just be walking down the street and suddenly, boom, you're in the Backrooms.
So what are some of the theories about how you actually like get to the back rooms?
Well, one theory is that it's like a glitch in reality.
Yeah.
Like you're just walking along, minding your own business, and then you step in the wrong place, or maybe you look at something you shouldn't have, and boom, you're in the Backrooms.
Okay, so just like bad luck,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, pretty much. Or another theory is that it's like an alternate dimension, like a parallel universe
Yeah.
that exists alongside our own. But
Yeah.
it's not a nice place. It's a place where people go when they get lost or when they're forgotten. It's like a purgatory for the lost souls.
So you're saying like if I like got lost in the woods or something, I could end up in the back rooms.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no one knows for sure how it works, but that's part of what makes it so scary. It could happen to anyone at any time. And once you're there, there's no guarantee you'll ever get back.
So okay, let's talk about the creatures for a second because I know there are all these stories about these like really creepy creatures that live in the back rooms. What are some of the ones that you've heard about?
Well, the most well-known ones are probably the facelings. They're these humanoid creatures, But they don't have any faces, just smooth skin where their eyes and nose and mouth should be. And they're always just staring at you.
Okay, that's creepy.
Yeah, they're really unsettling. And then there are the hounds, which are like these big four-legged creatures with sharp teeth and claws. They're basically like the predators of the backrooms. They hunt anything they can find.
So basically, if you're in the back rooms, you're not just like dealing with the environment itself, but you're also like having to worry about being hunted by these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a fun place to be. And there are other creatures too. There are stories about all sorts of weird and dangerous things lurking in the shadows of the back rooms. But the facelings and the hounds are definitely the most well known.
So what is about the back rooms that you think has like captured people's imaginations so much? I mean, it's just this simple concept, but it spawned all this like fan fiction and artwork and even like video games.
I think it's because it taps into something very primal.
Yeah.
Like I said before, we've all felt that feeling of being lost or alone or trapped.
Mm.
And the Backrooms just takes that feeling and makes it real. And it's also a very open-ended concept. There's no right or wrong answer to what the Backrooms are or why they exist. So it really lets people use their imaginations and come up with their own stories and interpretations.
It's like a blank canvas for horror.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's been so successful as a creepypasta, because it's not just one person's story.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story that everyone can contribute to. And that makes it feel more real, more personal.
So I think this is a good time to kind of like bring it back to the real world for a second, because we've been talking about the Backrooms as this like fictional place, but I think there's something about it that resonates with people on a deeper level. Like we all have those moments where we're in a place that's familiar, but it feels off somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about those times when you're walking home late at night and the streets are empty, it's dark and quiet. Or maybe you're in an office building after hours and everyone's gone home and it's just you and the flickering fluorescent lights. There's something about those empty liminal spaces that can feel really unsettling,
Yeah, like they're just a little too quiet, a little too still, like someone's not quite right.
Exactly. And I think that's what the Backrooms are tapping into. It's that feeling of unease that we all get sometimes when we're in those in-between spaces. And it's that feeling that makes the Backrooms so effective as a horror concept. Because it makes us question our own reality. Like what if those empty spaces are actually connected to something else? What if there's more to the world than we realize?
And that's what I find so fascinating about the Backrooms is that it makes you look at the world differently, It makes you pay attention to those little details that you might normally overlook. And it makes you wonder what's lurking just beneath the surface of our everyday reality.
It's like the Backrooms are a reminder that the world is a strange and mysterious place.
Yeah.
And that there are things out there that we don't understand and maybe we're not supposed to understand.
So what do you think? Is it just a story or is there something more to it?
I don't know. I mean, that's the question, isn't it? And I think that's what makes the Backrooms so compelling, because it's a question that we can't answer, but it's a question that we can't help but ask.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today. But before we go, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about the Backrooms? Have you ever had an experience where you felt like you were in a place that was familiar, but just wrong somehow? Let us know in the comments or on social media. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And if you're interested in exploring more creepy and unsettling topics like the Backrooms, be sure to subscribe to the show. We've got plenty more deep dives coming your way.
All right, so that's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for listening. And remember, keep an eye on those empty spaces. You never know what might be lurking just around the corner.
Stay safe out there. And don't get lost.